Welcome to the 9 News Business Buzz. I'm Ryan Frazier, 9 News business expert. Last month, JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon made headlines by predicting that artificial intelligence will eventually shrink the work week to just 3.5 days. It's a great headline, but what is actually happening on the ground? As companies integrate AI into speed up tasks, the real debate is the C-suite isn't about sending people home early, it's about whether to cut headcount to save money or to reinvest those hours into more meaningful work. Joining us to cut through the speculation is Chappelle Ryan, CEO of Denver-based tech firm WorkBright. Chappelle, welcome on the program.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Chappelle, now Jamie Dimon is talking about a 3.5-day work week 30 years from now.
Yep.
But looking at the software sector today, when AI takes a repetitive task off an employee's plate, are companies actually giving them back that time, or are they just expecting them to cram 60 hours into a 40-hour work week?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I'm going to speak from my own experience. We're about 3 years into our AI transformation at WorkBright right now. And I just want to call us back to a little historical context. John Maynard Keynes, back in 1930, predicted also similarly a 15-hour work week for his grandkids by the year 2030. We're in 2026. I don't think we're that close to that. With every major technology change that comes along, we're always looking to how can we incorporate that into the business with productivity gains and move things forward, just like email, make communication faster. And the level of expectation for what happened with communication just went up with that. So right now, currently, we are looking to just incorporate all of the gains that we're getting from AI into our business. However, I want to say this is a really good thing for consumers. Just this last quarter, we were able to take 3 of our kind of most requested features on our functionality, and we were able to deliver them in 4 months, what would have previously taken us probably 1.5 years of development. So as much as it may be difficult, we believe that our people are working on more meaningful projects for the work to deliver to customers, and we are just kind of taking any gains that we're getting from AI back into the business.
So basically, the long and short of it is don't expect the 3.5-day work week anytime soon. Certainly more efficiencies, more gains, but for folks who are working 5 days a week, even with AI, you should probably expect to still be working there 5 days a week. The bigger question perhaps is whether you'll be working there at all. Let's talk about the bottom line. Goldman Sachs says over 11 million jobs could be lost due to AI. Now, it's a nice sentiment to say that AI deepens the job market rather than shrinking it, but Wall Street and investors love cost cutting.
Yep.
If a team of 5 can now do the work of a team of 10 using AI, how do you justify to a board or others that you shouldn't just eliminate those extra 5 salaries?
Yeah, you're right about Wall Street, and cost cutting may look good on a quarter, but most businesses and most smart boards, which I'm lucky to work with one, really understand that repurposing the work into different roles is the compounding effect that happens over time. So when we see productivity gains and we see that we're able to produce more, we're able to now focus on future things. So the right question is not how can we reduce cost, it's what can we be doing with this found time across the organization to move us forward on our 1-year, 3-year, 10-year plans to get there faster. And again, best businesses are created through increased value. So the more value that we're creating, and when we reduce those people, we're not able to take that talent. We talk about it as right person, right seat. There's a right person for every organization. We've just found the things that uniquely make someone really well suited to work at WorkBright. They seem to love our culture. And what's changing right now is not that those are still the right people, it's just their seats that are changing. So what's happening with the seat and how can we reskill and retrain them? It costs approximately 50 to 200% of an annual salary to replace someone versus 10 to 30% to reskill them. So we're thinking about that and changing their seat when we have the right person at the organization.
Now, I'm glad you bring up reskilling and workforce development. Huge issue, I think, all across Colorado, all across the country and the world these days. Now, the data shows that 89% of executives say AI is a top priority, but only 6% are actually upskilling their workforce to use it. That is a massive challenge, if you will, for leadership. Why are executives rather so eager to buy technology but so hesitant to train the people to survive alongside it?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I'm going to speak specifically to my tech world. I think that 6% is going to be kind of across a lot of industries. I can tell you in our world, it's 100% of CEOs that are talking about reskilling people with this right now. And I think that at the end of 2026, I expect that number to be way up on formal plans that are in there. I will say, though, AI is a unique challenge in reskilling. Traditionally, when we have someone that becomes a manager for the first time, we have 40 years of history and philosophy of how we want them to act as managers, what we want it to look like, and we put them through a formalized program. AI is moving so fast that those programs don't exist. And by the time they do, they market, they sell, they produce a content, and they put out a program, it's kind of outdated. So what I'm thinking about as a reskilling is very different from how we reskill traditionally, upskilling programs that would take cross-collaboration from HR and IT and security and all of these pieces. How I'm thinking about it is, how can I create the container for experimentation, for redevelopment, for shared learning, so that all of our team members can get in and start to create, start to be innovative with their roles and what they're doing with AI, and share those challenges across. So it's a very different way that we're thinking about upskilling, and it may not fit in the survey to say, like, we have a 6-month upskilling program into AI.
Yeah, well, and I think it's very important, as you think about all this, and I think about all this as a business owner myself, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of anxiety, I'll call it, or concerns, or just uncertainty about the world that we are entering, right? We continue to see all the press reports talking about how people are increasingly, in some cases, fearful of what AI may mean. And so we're starting to see more pushback. And so I think it's incumbent upon CEOs and other business leaders, alongside policymakers and others, to help shape, if you will, the policies and the businesses and the role that everyday people will play along, say AI versus AI replacing them, which I think ties into one of my last questions for you, Chappelle.
Yeah.
For the employee that is watching this right now, who is worried about their job being on the chopping block, you've said that reskilling is an obligation for the worker in 2026. What is the exact first step an everyday employee needs to take tomorrow or next week to ensure they aren't being replaced by an algorithm by the end of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to think of this kind of like a tree branch, right? So let's just say the first position, if you love your job and you want to stay there, right? If you love your job and you want to stay there, the first thing I would do is use whatever AI tool is approved by your organization, put in maybe 3 tasks that you do on a recurring basis, so weekly, monthly basis, and say, which of these tasks and how would you help me complete these tasks? Then choose one, let it do it, and take notes about where it got it right and where it got it wrong. We're thinking a lot about what we call like a centaur organization, which is a human that has agents working alongside of it, and that will be the case in perpetuity, right? These agents don't have judgment, they don't have empathy, they will need that intersection. So how can you take one task and say, go do this, and what did it get right and what did it get wrong? Now, on the tree branch, if you love what you do and your organization hasn't approved AI tools, go to your manager and say, what's the highest value thing that I do at the organization, and how are we thinking about the future of AI? So my last note is, if you don't love what you're doing, AI creates an incredible opportunity to upskill in new areas as well. So you really can learn anything. And I would use AI to say, here's what I'm interested in, what is defensible about AI moving forward, and how can I start to learn about this new area that I'm interested in?
Don't shrink from it, lean into it is what I'm hearing. Technology changes, but the fundamentals of business don't. The companies that win the AI race won't be the ones that just cut hours. They will be the ones that use the technology to deliver more value to the customer while investing heavily in the human judgment behind the screen. Chappelle, Ryan, thank you so much for your insight and for joining us. We'll be back during the 11 o'clock hour to talk about the business of sustainability. A team of local students just won $20,000 to drop a microforest right into the middle of Colfax. But does green space actually equal green revenue for local businesses? We'll ask the winning team. Stay tuned and keep with us here on 9 News. For the 9 News Business Buzz, I'm Ryan Frazier.